Okay, we got Doom, the woke ages, question mark. Hugo Martin responds to the controversy from Arena Hub. All right, what is going on with Doom, the woke ages?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, Doom the Dark Ages, it releases in May of
hmm
this year, and like a lot of big
Damn, that's actually like right around the corner, dude. Holy shit. That's insane. Like, it's March, April, May. That's like 2 months. That's 2 months away.
games, there's been some debate around it. Specifically, people started talking about the game's difficulty sliders, and it kind of turned into a whole thing.
hmm
About 2 months ago, there was some controversy surrounding the game after its difficulty sliders were revealed.
Yeah.
Some players criticized the feature, calling the game Doom the Woke Ages.
Okay, so I didn't know that people were actually calling that a thing. With because the two sides of the coin is some of these players want a game with no difficulty sliders and they want something like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or something like that where it's like one difficulty to rule them all. Uh just you have to, defeat all the bosses as they are. No slowing down or speeding up of moves, no increasing or decreasing of damage taken or dealt or whatever. Um, it's like, oh, the developer should know how difficult to make the boss, and it should be up to the developer to set the gatekeep on uh like how difficult and how what amount of players, how many attempts it should take to defeat a boss or something like that. Um, yeah, that versus it's like, oh, there's like easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, and then even Doom. The older Dooms like Eternal and or not Eternal, 2016 and Eternal, they had difficulty modes. So the game was already broken down into like easy sections or modes of the game. Was there that same amount of energy and like rage towards the modes? I don't think so. I mean, at least I don't remember hearing anything about it with easy, normal, hard, nightmare, ultra nightmare.
While others saw it as a simple customization option. Now, recently, id Software's Hugo Martin has responded to the
Oh
criticism,
shit.
Doom the Woke Ages.
explaining why the sliders were added and addressing concerns about them making the game too easy. Now, before we get into his response, back on January 23rd of
Also, there are other games that have like this very customizable difficulty experience, like video game experience. I think like just off the riff, there's some stuff like from Final Fantasy that met you have like a bunch of difficulty sliders and whatnot. There's like a couple other ones. It is like an outlier type of feature, but there wasn't any like outrage like I'm hearing with Doom with the difficulty sliders, which is like very hilarious to me.
2025 during Xbox's Developer Direct event, id Software unveiled gameplay footage and mechanics for Doom the Dark Ages. One major announcement was the introduction of customizable difficulty sliders, something not featured as an official option in id Software's previous games. These sliders allow
No, but you had difficulty modes of easy, normal, hard, nightmare, ultra nightmare.
players to adjust various gameplay elements individually. For instance, you can alter things like enemy aggression, projectile speed, damage to the player, damage to enemies, and even the game's overall speed. According to Marty Stratton, executive producer at id Software, the goal was to make combat more approachable and flexible than ever before, describing it as a Doom for all Slayers. Shortly after the reveal, some people started criticizing these sliders, labeling the game as Doom the Woke Ages.
So I understand the argument from both sides. One side, it's like I said before, you want to leave the like one difficulty, but like I still don't understand though. Like I just said I understand, but I don't understand because the previous titles had a bunch of different game modes. So it still doesn't make sense. All of these things like with the sliders, like what was that, like 10 plus different little modifiers. These were probably inside the other game modes. You just didn't see them. It was like on easy, everything's kind of like way low. Normal, everything is toned up a bit. Hard, everything's turned up a bit even more. Nightmare, okay, everything's pretty high. And then ultra nightmare, everything is like damn near close to being maxed out. It's just you didn't have a window to and the sliders. So I am not really like, maybe somebody could like do like a video to like compare the speed and the damage and the days and all that shit, projectile speed, and compare them within each mode of the previous Doom games to see if I'm right. I mean, maybe I'm not, but like, just play the game. Like, if you're so pissed that there's so many like modifiers, just on day one of starting the game, just turn all your modifiers to max and shut up and play the game. Even if you do beat the game, did you beat it on max modifiers?
This term quickly spread on social media, with critics suggesting that adding extensive customization options made the game overly easy, or compromised the original hardcore Doom gameplay.
Yeah, but still, even multiplayer shooting games go through a long lifespan of patches. So you can't even use the multiplayer like live service shooter argument, because this has happened with multiplayer live service shooters. In the beginning, the game is like very like set in stone. It's like pretty hard. And then I've seen this with every shooting game. Given enough time, every multiplayer shooter gets quote unquote easier. Guns do less damage in order to give the player some time to react. Your little batteries or little chug jugs heal more. Eventually, you got like a little alternate in Fortnite. You got like a little alternate shield thing that like recharges. What else? Items are more powerful to give more power to the player and like less power to the person that has like insane aim. All right. This is the same thing with abilities in Overwatch and ability shooters or hero shooters. In what do you call it? Marvel Rivals. Abilities do more damage. They get bigger. Like the actual shooting projectile of each character, like their main attack, gets like lessened because just whatever the feedback is from like the players and the player base, the competitive base, the casual base. It's always the competitive people versus the casual people. That's this type of argument.
One notable example is a post on Twitter that said Doom the Woke Ages and included 2 screenshots.
Yeah, this may as well be like rage bait.
One screenshot showing the difficulty sliders, and the other screenshot was a still frame of Doom the Dark Ages gameplay with an on-screen caption reading, "It's a Doom for all Slayers." In response to this criticism,
if anything, this Doom the difficulty sliders, this decision has been made for the same reason that everyone's bitch mode complaining about Monster Hunter Wilds being easy, to bring in new players. So it's a cash grab. If anything, that would be a better argument. Oh, the game's too easy, but we sold 8 million copies in 3 days. It's gonna be the same thing for this game. They're probably gonna sell like more copies on like the Dark Ages, or maybe like similar numbers to like Eternal. And then it'll be like they're hoping to like grab new players and retain them for longer. That's the hope. It doesn't have anything to do with woke bullshit. Like, what?
Hugo Martin, the game's director, directly addressed the controversy in a video posted on Doom's Twitter account on March 19th, 2025. And here's what he said.
Doom the Woke Ages. I've heard about this. I've seen the videos. Well, here's the thing about this. First of all,
and if anything, why are we letting him and the other guy off the hook for like messing around with Mick Gordon, and Mick Gordon not working on this this one. Has the internet forgot about that?
I don't agree with that. And really, when you think about options
Okay, so you don't agree about it. Okay, it's good that he addresses it directly.
like the sliders, the policy was it has to be good both for the white belts and the black belts. You know, if we're going to allow you to slow the game down, we have to
People that are new to the game and people that are really good at the game. Okay, I get it.
enable you to speed the game up. And
Martin further explained that
Okay, that's fine. So, like, my question would also be, would everybody that's all pissed and, like, outrageous, would they still bring that same level of energy if they simply introduced, like, another level of difficulty? That's, like, easy, normal, hard, like, pretty damn, or it's, like, hurt me plenty is, like, normal. Easy, normal, hard, like pretty, like harder, and then nightmare, then ultra nightmare. What if they just added like another level of difficulty? Would that same level of like energy still be there? That's my question.
these sliders are not simply easy mode adjustments. He clarified, so everything in the game, you can either make things super hard or super easy, you know, or just find that sweet spot somewhere in the middle.
I mean, why are we not addressing the elephant in the room? This is an FPS. All right. If anything, people are gonna bitch moan complain about the game because they can't aim in the first place. Given, you know, the game has like, first of all, it's a single player game. All right. I don't know if there's gonna be a multiplayer or whatever. I'm just gonna talk about this from like the single player story mode perspective. There's aim assist on controller, on console. All right, that's fine. It's whatever. No one gives a shit about aim assist. Okay, in single player, but you're gonna have a percentage of people playing on controller and another percentage of people playing on M and K. If I hear anybody on M and K complaining about difficulty, I'm gonna look at their aim first, and I would probably yell at them and say, "Aim better." Not the game's too difficult, like, oh, game too hard, I can't aim, oh. I would check that first. Check the aim first. Then when you have decent enough aim, then you can like start to question like positioning, abilities, like visual clutter, all that other bullshit. Okay?
He also gave an example of how internal developers have been using the sliders in unexpected ways.
what we see with the sliders from our best players in the office is that they do a lot of surprising things. You would think it's just
Best players in the office. Oh, okay. Not best players on YouTube uploading like super ultra nightmare mode where they face like 20 marauders or anything like that. Those videos exist. All right. Granted, they're like the outliers on a bell curve. They're like way over there on the right. So best players in the office still probably fall within like the bell curve.
just crank everything up, but that's actually not the case. Like one of our players, Mikey and Travis, they like to slow down the projectiles, but then make them lethal. It really enhances that three-dimensional shmup, you know, that bullet hell experience. That is kind of what Classic Doom is. Classic Doom is a three-dimensional bullet hell, you know, weaving between these slow-moving projectiles that hit really hard.
Oh yeah, it kind of is.
That's what creates the maze, and that's what promotes.
And I didn't even play like the older Dooms.
Encourages the player to move. Is really the projectiles, and
Yeah,
that's what we
don't die.
focused on, you know, for this game. So being able to adjust those things doesn't make the game, you know, super easy. It actually
It doesn't make the game super easy, but adjusting the projectile speed does make it easier. Okay, let's not go outside and say the sky is tie-dye when clearly it's just blue. Okay, slowing down projectiles does make it easier to react to them. Okay,
I mean, it can make it super easy, but it can make it like super hard. It's like messing with an equalizer on a radio, you know what I mean? You just find what suits you best.
He assured players that default difficulty settings like Ultraviolence and Nightmare are carefully balanced by the developers. We'll make sure that it feels really good on Ultraviolence, Normal, Nightmare, all that stuff. And then we'll expose those sliders to you so you can make it the way you want. And finally, Martin firmly rejected the notion that the game was inherently easy. He says, "So no, the game is not easy. Don't say that." Following this video from Hugo Martin, many players praised his explanation, highlighting that the sliders offered more accessibility and increased replayability. However, some will still probably argue that it strays too far from Doom's traditional hardcore difficulty
Sorry.
and maintain their criticism.
I mean, I see both sides of the argument, and both things can be true. It does actually stray away from the traditional Doom experience by having a bunch of like difficulty sliders and modifiers, but it can also make the game extremely hard if you jack everything up to max.
So there you have it. That's a breakdown of the Doom the Woke Ages controversy, as well as Hugo Martin's response. Doom the Dark Ages is set to release on May 15th, 2025 on Xbox Series X and S consoles, PlayStation 5, and PC. Feel free to let us know your thoughts on this controversy, and regardless of whether or not you think difficulty sliders make the game woke, are you a fan of difficulty sliders?
Yeah, I'm fine
Or
with it.
do you hate the idea, and why? Well, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.
Nice. Okay, I'm a fan. The whole difficulty slider thing, that's like hilarious, dude. But so like to like reinforce your thought process, apply this thing to like another game to see if it holds. So I would probably apply this whole difficulty slider thing to Elden Ring. What if Elden Ring had a bunch of difficulty sliders? Okay. Would you still hold your same level of like understanding and like thought process and logic if you gave all the sliders to Elden Ring? Understandably, like a lot of Dark Souls games before and Dark like Souls-like games, I don't really think they had like an easy, normal, hard, ultra hard, or like Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare type of difficulty thing. That's just not how Souls-like games are. It's just like, turn it on, just start playing. But it does beg the question of like, the outrage is not completely unjustified, but the level of intensity that I'm hearing does seem a little silly. So like, if I hear like anybody bitch moan complain about the sliders, and they from day one they are not playing with like max difficulty sliders, I'm gonna laugh at them. Oh man, I mean it's whatever. Other than that, good stuff, man. Keep it up, and I'm a fan. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.